So welcome back, and if you're not following us on Twitter, you should be at hashtag, that's Pass TV and Sequel Pass, so make sure you tune into that. We got JRJ here, how you doing?
Very good to see you.
Nice to meet you, board member of Pass, working around global growth.
Yeah.
And so first I'd like to get to know you a little bit, and
Yeah.
that is, how'd you get started with Pass? I mean, go way back in time if you want, about your involvement with the community, and really what brings you here today.
Okay, so I'm slightly different to some people. I actually got started with Pass actually fairly recently.
Okay.
But I work on a community conference in the UK called SQL Bits.
Nice.
And we did an awful lot to kind of promote the SQL Server community in the UK, and we were doing an awful lot kind of international and across Europe. And we were approached by Pass and by Mark Souza, and he asked us to kind of come together with some other folk from around the world to talk about global growth as part of a Pass mission to kind of expand the reach and support the SQL Server community across the world.
Fantastic.
So a couple of years ago, we all went over to Stockholm. We had a really interesting meeting, and I joined the board as an advisor. And then from my position as an advisor, that has evolved into me running for the board and actually becoming a member of the board as I am now, running the portfolio for global growth, which is essentially the international development of the SQL Server community and how Pass can support that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So spreading the love.
Absolutely.
Going worldwide.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So a little bit about yourself. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm a father to 3 children. My eldest has just gone to university,
Okay.
and my 2 eldest, Lucy and Kate, and then my son is Oliver, and he's my Arsenal fan. So he and I go and see soccer games together, and so whenever I go around and I do a lot abroad, always try and bring him back a soccer shirt or a sports jersey from
Nice.
one of these places.
Nice.
So I love coming to the States, seeing a few games, and kind of really understanding the culture of the places that I visit.
Right. It's quite different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
What's your background on SQL Server?
So my SQL Server background is all around PDW. So and around data warehousing, analytics, that sort of thing. So I focus on that very specifically at the moment. I'm doing lots of scale-out data warehouse implementations for retail and insurance applications, which is a very interesting place. It's not the norm by any stretch, but again, it is a very interesting new world of data for us. Integrations with Hadoop and all these other areas. So we saw a lot of that in the keynote today. Yep. Around Polybase, in-memory technologies, columnar. Yeah, it's awesome time. Great time to be in analytics.
Yes.
If you are really interested in actually trying to do something with the data, providing new insights back to customers, back to your business users around the data, taking it in a new direction. Business intelligence has always been about looking backwards over the data and kind of giving you insight on something that happened. This is about forecasting, saying what do we think's going to happen? What's the probability of this type of an event? Right. And therefore trying to get new insights, taking completely unrelated data sets and mashing them together and trying to create new insights for business in ways that we really haven't done before. And that's a really exciting place to be.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's amazing. I'm kind of old school. I go back into time. With the 20 years with Microsoft and the company.
Wow. Yeah.
You go back, Fox Pro, man, Fox Pro Access, right?
Yeah.
Where we've come from even Sybase and those products to where we've built up on all of this to now on-prem and in the cloud and hybrid and Pass and building SQL in the cloud and Hadoop and all these the big data pieces. It's fascinating. It's amazing how time and technology grows.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
What else do you want to close with on the interview?
So I guess for me, we've had some really great wins this year for Pass with global growth, right? This year we've had our first regional director join the board, Jen Stirrup, who I'd like to warmly welcome onto the board, and also for the US and Canada. We have Tim Ford, who's come on into that seat. So we're really looking to kind of grow and focus in the LATAM region is our next targeted region,
good.
So that we can continue to develop both our presence in those communities and our support of those communities both directly and indirectly. And so I look forward to meeting with members of those communities, and as well as the rest of the SQL Server world, and bringing PaaS to them as well. So I welcome you all, and I hope that everybody has a rich and rewarding PaaS Summit experience.
Absolutely. JRJ, a board member of PaaS, also working on the global growth for PaaS itself. And with that, thank you very much for being on PaaS TV.
Thank you very much,
All
Brian.
right. And we're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to be back. And the next interview is Rob Farley, so stay tuned.